Hi everyone, this is Dango. This is going to be a Illusion Connect video where I'm going to talk about how to build a strong attacker team. So it is actually very important to figure out how to build a team. A lot of players, they summon a lot of SSR units, and a lot of people like to use the higher cost SSR unit, thinking they are strong. It is actually not necessarily the case in Illusion Connect. Figuring out how to build a better lineup is actually very essential for both the PvE content and the PvP content. So there are like attacker team, there are like AoE team, there are like tank heal, tank push team, and also there is like summon team. And those different teams kind of counter like each other. It's like a rock, paper, and scissors. So today we are going to start with the one that is more free-to-play friendly, but still very strong. So it's going to be an attacker team. This is actually one of the best team for PvE, for PvP actually. So the pros for attacker team is like they are free-to-play friendly. The attacker team's leader actually asks you to stay the average cost below 14. And a lot of the free-to-play units, they have very low cost, including the 10 cost Sia. So this is why it is free-to-play friendly. And also it is strong in PvP, as we discuss later why it is strong in PvP. And then usually this kind of team clear PvE content very fast. You either die or you clear very fast. But there is also some cons. Some of the PvE content, it is very super hard to get 3-star with this kind of team. And the reason we will know it also. So it's also kind of RNG dependent. So in the PvP, you can set up an order to make sure who goes first, who goes second. You cannot do that in PvE. And for striker team, because your character, they are not, as bulky as the other teams, so they kinda dies pretty fast. So if you have very terrible RNG, like you don't have the unit you want to put in, then you may have a huge trouble. So this is the cons for the attacker team. And also, especially in some of the PvE content, there is more than a leader in the opponent's team. Usually there can be like 3 or 4 leaders. In this kind of like story mode, it's actually very hard to clear with the attacker team, like at least with a pure attacker team. So okay, so let's see what's the objective of attacker team. So attacker team, there is the fundamental objective is to snipe the opponent leader. So you kind of ignore most of the opponent's unit. You just really try to bring down the opponent leader. And it's very so when you are using attacker team, you are going to use the Nightmare Hunter as your main leader. So Nightmare Hunter, we can see his leader scale include the increase the damage against the opponent leader by 30%. This is why I say when you are using this kind of team, you are trying to snipe the opponent leader. So you can also call attacker team a sniper team. Yeah, you just want to really kill the opponent leader fast. And this explains why I say when there is like multiple leaders from the opponent in some of the story mode, it's going to be challenging because you snap one leader, you snap the second leader, you snap the third leader, then you still have to snap the fourth leader. And sometimes as you can see the team composition later, this can be just very hard to achieve. And also the second one is the shadow right, so bring down the reduced energy cost. This is great to have. Actually, you must have that if you are trying to build attacker team, because these first like initial cards, energy cost reduction is very important. You want to snap your opponent's leader before they set up everything. So the faster that you can put your card in, the more significant damage you can deal to your opponent leader. And this also gives you longer time that your leader can survive before you snap your opponent's leader. So yeah, this is very essential. So the requirement is pretty low, is to actually get either Maki or Jiggy. So Maki is in the retap banner right now, 40% chance to pull her, guaranteed to have 70 pulls. I really recommend all the free-to-play players to at least get the guaranteed Maki, because without Maki, you don't have that skill. You need to use, if you don't have Maki, you need to put Jiggy in. And yeah, I mean, she's not as strong as Maki. So yeah, I recommend to have Maki at least if you are trying to go for this team. The other skill is also very essential. So you need to put at least 6 attacker and sorcerers partners. There are only a couple of sorcerers that is good. I'm going to talk about the lineup, the formation of the lineup later, but there is only like 1 or 2 sorcerers that is good to have, because you really want to also achieve like energy is less than 14. Like this is also a must have. You cannot sniper your opponent's leader effectively without this increase in damage. So this is really essential as well. And yeah, this is pretty good to have, but at low level you probably don't have it, just because you don't have that many slots open. After you open every slot, you will need to try to get it. Increased attack is great, increased crit rate is also awesome to have. So the other one is actually pretty weak. So yeah, this is increasing your attack and health point. I don't know why you need health point in this team, as we will discuss later in the lineup. Yeah, you just don't want to have this. So yeah, I mean, the moment that you deploy 6 attacker and sorcerers, you're not going to bring like 6 summons and spell partners. So this is like you're not going to have it. And then rapid army. So yeah, this is relatively easy to get. This requires you to collect all the 80% partners whose energy is below 14. Most of the SR and all of the R are below 14, so those are easy to get. Only a few Striker SSR and Sorcerer's SSR is equal to or below 14, so it's not hard to collect. Even for free-to-play players, if you play this game long enough, you have some plans on summoning, I think you should be able to get it as well. So the next one is going to have at least 5 SSR. This is actually not hard to do, just because you already have Meki and you already have Saya in your team, so that's 2 SSR already. There is going to be another free SSR that is strong in Striker team that you will get from the arena summon. So basically 3 free SSR. So what you really need to do is just summon 2 extra SSR. And with all the free stuff in this game, I do believe this is not a super hard requirement for you. So okay, but to be honest, this activation effect is just a meh. Like you don't really need health points in your team in most of the case. Okay, so we're going to then talk about the combat action. So what you should do when you are using a sniper team, assassin team, or attacker team. So what I usually recommend, especially in PvP, is you put down a guard first to make sure your leader is not getting snapped by the opponent leader. This is a pretty standard action for all the teams. No matter you are using a mage team, you're using a summon team, you're using maybe not a summon team, yeah, but if you are using an AoE team like a mage team, a tank push team, of course you have tank, but also in striker team you still need to put a guard there so that your leader is not getting snapped before your opponent. And then you use land attack skill characters. This is always because your opponent is likely going to put a tank in front of their leader as well, and they're going to put more units on that land. So usually I would recommend you to start with land attackers, and then you use like either single target attackers or AoE attackers, depends on if your single target attackers can find a very nice opening. So I'm going to put a combat video after this to help you to figure out, understand, what's the timing to use the single target. And then if your leader can use a scale, try to use the snap scale to directly snap the opponent's leader, and then try to use control and healer only when it is really needed. Yes, usually you don't use control or healer in this lineup at all. You just don't use them. Your goal is easy: to bring down your opponent's leader before your leader is getting killed. So everything that censors to kill that leader is really needed. But yeah, but in some of the story mode, you have to maintain your leader's health points. This is when a healer is needed, and sometimes you have to control, like stun or freeze your opponent, so they will not do crazy damage to your leader, so that his health point is dropped below 50%. Only in this case you use control healers. In other case, you just don't use that. So what to make attacker team? So the core units I recommend is Meki, and also yeah, of course Kazumi is the strongest land skill right now. Her cost is pretty high, but with Saya and Hotaru, it is still pretty easy to bring down overall cost below 14. And this is exactly why I say these two units are also core units, because they are really effective in bringing down the overall CP. Yeah, and the Seiya is actually very strong at 6-star. As free to play, you can slowly get Seiya to 6-star. Or yeah, if you spend a little bit, I think buying the pack to bring her to 6-star is super worth it if you are using a striker team. So yeah, this one you can get free from the free summon, and she's actually pretty effective. I have a lot of game. I use her. I mean, she's another land scale unit and has a chance to stun the opponent. So very, I mean, this is a very convenient to use. Only 10 cost as well in combat. So Pan is actually I almost put Pan to core units. But I still think, I mean, if you have a perfect lineup, you don't have to 100% put Pan, but Pan deals super great heavy single target damage. When you find a target, sometimes Pan can even do more damage than Meki, so it's pretty good. And yeah, you also have the folk here. The reason that I put her here is because she can be used as a semi-tank as well. You are not going to use a lot of tank for your lineup. Usually, I recommend you only put one tank, and the best tank is probably Selena here. But if you, yeah, but so in most of the case, you are not also going to put healer, so she's going to be killed, right? So if your battle like combat is a little bit long or she's getting killed super early, you can put her in to basically deal some significant AoE damage and also bring down the opponent's defense, which is very essential to help you snap the leader. But also she can be used as a meat wall. And this is a new character, so I believe she is coming to global very soon. Should be tomorrow after this video is made. So she is Jimmy, a very strong character. She's going to use another, ultra skill when she's dead. So all the units here, they are actually very easy to get killed. You are not depending them to do sustainable damage. Basically, they deal their damage, they snap the leader, and then they are dead. So you don't expect them to do like second strike or third strike, but this character can always give you another time, another strike, and she deals great damage as well. This is why I put her in. I put her here good to have. So remember, we also can put some sorcerers or mages in this game, so they can, they can help you with the increased 8% attack and 8% crit. So one of the mage you can use is definitely Yuffie here. She's only 14 cost and she deal very significant AoE damage. So this guy is also very strong, just because I don't know why people rank her too low, but in PvP, people started to, especially like a lot of whales, they like to put tanks and heals in their team, and it's kind of annoying to deal with sometimes. You need to snap them very fast, or you need to have some heal block. And yeah, Phoenix right now is the only AoE heal block that you can have, which is actually very essential for your objective, right? You don't want your opponent's healers to keep getting healed, so it is going to cause trouble when you try to snap him. This is why she's here, and Selena is the best tank. So if you don't have those units, you can also use those. Right now I don't have Yuffie, so I'm using these I think she's called Beatrice. Yeah, so she's awesome. She deal great AoE damage. In a lot of cases, your opponents like the leader is getting blocked by some other units. So use some AoE to clean up those units like in front of the leader. It's great, and you also can put some units like Nina if you don't have enough units to put in your lineup. But usually, if you have like better units to use, I would not recommend you to run these kind of R characters. So the alternative tank to have is these two guys, Karia, and also the free unit. I think she's called Victoria. Yeah. So yeah, this is the other unit to have. So they do very special things like this tank. Angela can revive one of your character. this one can, make sure your opponent is not going to spam crazy skill on you. So situationally in the story mode, you would like to run lows, and also healers. Sometimes in the PvE, like when the opponent leader like has 4 leaders, or you have to maintain your leader's health point be like above 50%, then putting one healer, only one, is probably viable for striker team still. So that healer needs to heal the leader. Like again, I don't care those units getting killed. They're pretty squashy. Yeah, they're going to get killed. You're not counting them to do more than like 1 or 2 strike. So the healers needs to heal the leader. The healers that cannot heal the leader, you absolutely don't want to put them. But the healers that can heal the leader are the healers that you want to put. For example, in this case, Diana is pretty good because she can heal the leader very well. So this is basically what you have in the team. And then I'm going to post a video where I use my 76k team to beat a 95k team using like basically a striker team. So yeah, this is really strong in PvP. In PvE, it is also strong. But sometimes when you need like a lot of requirement on your health point on leader, this may not be the best option. But still, with the some help of like healers and putting some those situational characters into your striker team, it is still making like achieving 3-star for this task viable. So this is about that. So this clip we are going to do one of the auto arena with the manual control here to show how the striker team works. So a lot of the lower power people, I can auto win them without any difficulty, including these 87k people. Yeah, so I'm only at 76k, but my auto arena team can still beat that. But those I cannot beat. They really have high power. So the AI, just the AI is not going to work. So we are going to try to do better than our AI. So I just select the higher CP level player and see how we can, how we perform against this guy. So most of the whales, they are using this leader here because the striker leader requires lower CP, and yeah, they probably don't like it because the CP is lower. Because the CP requirement is lower. So let's just try to kill them, and now we have a good chance to strike and hit the leader. Okay, the leader is open to hit. Okay, so this is it, right? The leader is dead. So yeah, although he has a very good SSR equipment that allows him to all the team to get immune for this long time. As long as you see the opening, you put your strikes up, you use your AoE to clear the thing that is in front of their leader, then that's an easy peasy win. So yeah, so I have to clarify, when I was do the battling, I was saying that these people, when people don't like to use the single target striker, it's because the CP is lower. The CP is the same. It's just the cost for the units requires to be below 14 overall. And a lot of the SSR units, they have very high cost. So for example, if you check like Selena, Selena is actually fun. But yeah, a lot of like SSR unit, they have overall higher cost than the SR. So it's not that easy to maintain the energy below 14, especially if they don't want to use like some free characters like Seiya or like this guy here. They have very low cost. Yeah, so that could be an issue for them, right? Angela has like 18 cost. So yeah, but still, this team here, I mean, works very well. We just snapped basically a player having 30% higher power than us. So yeah, more than 20%, around 25% here. Yeah. So yeah, this is just how strike team works.